Are we live? Are we live? Can we see Karoline? We gotta. That's okay right there.
In fact, it's the largest attendance ever.
So, Karoline Leavitt is holding a press briefing. She's gonna talk about Canada, a couple other things. But have you guys seen the JD Vance memes? Dude, I haven't stopped laughing in like an hour. I just stopped laughing. There's so many memes. Like every single time I refresh, it's a new JD Vance meme.
For this event, because business leaders are so eager and encouraged by President Trump's return to Washington. This follows President
Me and this girl are the same age.
Trump's roundtable yesterday
Karoline
with the Technology
Leavitt.
CEO Council here at the White House, where he met with key leaders in the technology industry. And last night, President Trump also held an official swearing-in ceremony in the Oval Office for Sean Curran, who is now the 28th Director of the United States Secret Service. Sean demonstrated unbelievable bravery under gunfire in Butler, Pennsylvania this past July when an assassin tried to kill President Trump. As someone who got to know Sean personally throughout the campaign last year, I can say unequivocally that there is nobody better suited for this important role.
Nobody.
And following the confirmation of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRomer last night, the Senate has now confirmed 21 of President Trump's well-qualified cabinet-level nominees.
How many are left, though? I thought he has to appoint like 10,000 people. Are we going to have to do this for everyone?
Far outpacing the previous administration. And looking ahead, tomorrow, the president will welcome the Taoiseach Micheál Martin of Ireland for the annual White House Shamrock ceremony.
Oh, let's go.
And Thursday, President Trump will welcome the NATO Secretary General for a working meeting and lunch. On the economy,
NATO's coming in. You know, I've noticed whenever people come in, like it's usually a good or bad thing for them. Because sometimes when they leave, they get slapped with tariffs like India.
His jobs report was good news for America, particularly our manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector gained 10,000 new jobs in just 1 month under President Trump. This rebound was led by the automobile sector, where we saw 9,000 new auto jobs created already. That is the most...
Cool, but I kind of want to see what's on the graphs, low-key. That's more important than how she talks, because... obviously, Karoline Leavitt's going to spin it for herself.
Auto jobs added to the economy in 15 months. This was a complete turnaround from the Biden administration, where we were losing an average of 9,000 manufacturing jobs per month last year. Reuters is out with a report that a number of companies are now looking at expanding their presence or bringing their businesses into America because of President Trump's policies.
We got Saudi Arabia is gonna invest like $1 trillion. We got the chip manufacturers from Taiwan, Japan, and the oil pipeline in Alaska.
And just moments ago, before coming out here, I saw another report by Reuters revealing that Merck has opened a $1 billion facility at its North Carolina site. This is just the latest pharmaceutical company to boost its U.S. manufacturing in lieu of President Trump's tariffs.
You guys know this guy?
This announcement follows Eli Lilly's plans to invest at least $27 billion to build 4 new manufacturing plants here in the United States. And Pfizer has also said it's considering moving their manufacturing overseas here to the United States of America. As the president has said over and over again, when we purchase products made in the USA, the profits stay here, the revenue stays here, and most importantly, the jobs stay here. And despite the globalist mainstream media's attempts to worry consumers, President Trump will not repeat the trend of past American presidents who broke their promises to the American public and smiled while they stuck a knife in the back of American workers and shipped their jobs overseas. Our country has lost more than 5 million jobs in more than 90,000 factories due to devastating globalization over the last 3 decades alone. North Carolina lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs, including 60% of its furniture manufacturing jobs in the years following NAFTA. And in Michigan...
That is true. That is true. So I just wonder, I'm like, so the whole NAFTA deal, you know, Canada, Mexico... Wait, is that NAFTA? North Atlantic something trade admission. Yeah, so basically it's been taking American jobs and just shoving them into other places. And that's why I don't think. Yesterday during the live stream, I was saying I don't think Trump cares if Canada completely shuts off the electricity to the U.S. because he doesn't even want the U.S. to be relying on Canada's electricity energy, anyways, right?
Globalist policies destroyed 250,000 jobs, including 40% of the auto industry, which again we know is clawing back because of President Trump's action already. These are harrowing statistics that represent countless towns and families who have been completely destroyed. But the America Last globalist era is ending under President Trump. He will no longer allow our country and our workers, our hard-working American families, to be ripped off. On another very important issue for the president, he continues to work hard to secure the border. If you missed it yesterday, CBP launched an enhanced home mobile app with a new feature, the Intent to Depart, which offers unlawfully present aliens or those aliens whose parole has been revoked an orderly and defined process to notify the U.S. government of their intent to depart the country. The CBP Home app strengthens our mission to secure the border and provides illegal aliens with a straightforward way to leave now before facing much harsher consequences later. A new report from Bloomberg just found that the number of aliens trying to reach our country by traveling through the jungle to Central America dropped a whopping 99% last month. And this follows the incredible news that illegal border crossings plummeted last month as well, down 94% at our southern border from last February under the Biden administration. As President Trump made clear during his historic address to Congress, we must finish this job and continue to carry out the largest deportation campaign in American history.
Here we go.
And that is why the president fully endorses the continuing resolution that is before Congress and was negotiated by Speaker Johnson. He is encouraging all Republicans to vote yes on this clean CR, which freezes funding at current levels and will prevent the Democrats from getting their long-awaited...
there's big beef going on with this. So Trump is calling out Thomas Massie because Thomas Massie doesn't want to vote on the bill, which will keep spending. But then I'm like, I kind of get what Trump's doing. He wants to, purposely, I think, bring down the markets. And then he wants to refinance our debt so we can pay at like 2%. He wants to manipulate the Fed to bring down the rates, something like that. But yeah.
Government shutdown. Voting against this CR will hurt the American people and kill the incredible momentum that President Trump has built over the past 51 days. And lastly, before I take questions, I would like to commend the Washington Post, who I believe is in the room today. According to a new report from Axios, the Washington Post is overhauling their newsroom structure.
Every time you listen to any press secretary, it's like their job is to spin everything to make the president sound good, right? Obviously. But what entertains me more is when I can see people put pressure and see how they react.
It appears that the mainstream media, including the Post, is finally learning that having disdain for more than half of the country who supports this president does not help you sell newspapers. It's not a very good business model. And that's why we have people in our new media seat. And today we have Sargar Aneti, who is the host of Breaking Points, a popular political YouTube news and podcast show that has racked up nearly 1 billion views on YouTube, several hundred million podcast downloads since its launch in June 2021. He's also a former member of the White House Correspondents Association, but is now a part of the thriving independent media. We're very happy to...
Apparently every press briefing, they bring independent journalists or from different media outlets. So I think it's a Sager. What's his name? Sager?
Have you with us here today. Why don't you kick off our briefing? Thank you.
Really appreciate you having me, Karoline. A couple of questions for you, if I may. First on the stock market. So currently it's the 25th anniversary today of the dot-com bubble crash. There's a lot of concern for a lot of Americans right now about the state of the economy. President Trump has refused to rule out a recession. Secretary Lutnick, however, has told us there will not be one. So can the White House just tell and assure Americans today that there's not going to be a recession?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. So let me start by saying that, first of all, when it comes to the stock market, the numbers that we see today, the numbers we saw yesterday, the numbers we'll see tomorrow are a snapshot of a moment in time. And as President Trump has said, and I'm here to echo the remarks of this president of this White House, we are in a period of economic transition. We are in a period of transition.
That's kind of what I was saying, right? Our policies have kind of been the same for the longest time. Every president just kind of follows the status quo. And Trump ran on the idea that he's going to shake things up completely, which he's in the middle of doing. So it is going to get a little bumpy. But imagine during his campaign, he said, yeah, guys, Bitcoin's going to go down a lot. Stocks are going to go down a lot. People wouldn't vote for him. So it's par for the course.
Transition from the mess that was created under Joe Biden in the previous administration. Joe Biden left this country in an economic disaster. Several statistics to point out. The delinquency rate on credit card loans increased 63% under Joe Biden, hitting a near 12-year high. Under Joe Biden, all net job growth went to foreign-born Americans. Real wages declined by 1.5% under Joe Biden. And as we all know, and this administration continues to combat, prices soared more than 20% under Joe Biden because of his reckless spending and economic policies. So we are in a period of transition.
Just talk about the eggs. If you guys have eggs, you know how big of a topic eggs are. Everyone wants to go crazy about the eggs.
From that economic nightmare, under a president who had no idea what he was doing, never held a private sector job in his life, into a golden age of American manufacturing under a businessman and a deal maker in chief in President Donald J. Trump, who is implementing the formula that we know works. Look at President Trump's results in his first term. If people are looking for certainty, they should look at the record of this president. That's why the American people reelected him.
I remember his first term, gas was really cheap, because when COVID happened, we were just rent cars and go on drives, and gas was like 3 something. Maybe it's like low 3s, maybe 2s. Now it's like it's going down again a little bit. Yesterday I checked and it was like $3.99 here in Los Angeles. But like,
back to this.
It's funny because if you go to like Beverly Hills or downtown or certain places, not even certain places, like certain gas stations in certain cities, it's like $7. And people still get gas there.
Office. And look at everything that President Trump has already done and his team has already done in just 51 days. The massive efforts to deregulate. Tax cuts, which we need Congress to pass the Trump economic agenda, the Trump tax cuts, which will unleash economic growth. And the president also addressed this directly, I will point out as well, when you look at what he said on Air Force One. And he said he wants the American people to have so much money in their pockets they don't even know what to do with it. That's the intent of this administration. And
what happened to the Doge, the little Doge monies?
Working very hard every day on that goal.
Second question on this.
Is that part of the spending bill?
Trump came out today in a primary challenge against Congressman
Thomas Massey. That's what I was saying. There's beef going on. Thomas Massey versus Trump.
And Massey's been a supporter of Doge. He's been a supporter of Make America Healthy Again. What kind of message is this White House sending against a congressman who's sticking up for principles that he's long held in the chamber and voting against continuing resolution and spending?
I think the president has made it very clear that he believes it's critical for conservatives and Republicans and frankly all members of Congress to get behind this continuing resolution to keep the government funded. The president wants to continue the momentum that he has built over the last 51 days. In order to keep the government funded, we got to keep moving with these deportations, and he believes that everybody needs to get on board with this bill. He's been active in this process. He's been making calls to get this over the finish line, and we're urging every Republican and Democrats too to do what's right for the American public to prevent a government shutdown.
Just the last question here on Mahmoud Khalil. Does the administration believe that it needs to charge a green card holder with a crime to be